Hi, my name is Jose. I create this simulation as an introduction to the study of genetic algorithms that I present on my website www.el-profe-vigo.es. But I realized that I could also be of interest to people who were not programmers. Many people believe that in the evolutionary process, higher powers are involved, or that adaptation is a conscious or guided process. In fact, evolution is simply the result of survival and reproduction. The experiment itself is very simple. This is the representation of an unicellular cube-shaped being. This being is fed by the light coming through the stream. In the simulation, there is always the same amount of light regardless of how many creatures live in the simulation. This light is split evenly between beings living in the virtual world. When a being fit enough duplicates itself, creating a new one. If it's not fit enough, the being dies. These are the axes of the being. The flatter and shallower is the being. It receives more light and fits faster, which means that also grows more quickly. Now, this being only has two genes that govern their proportions and may change its shape. When this being duplicates itself, let's duplicate. It produces another being that is slightly different from him. This shape change is due to the random mutation of its genes, the change of its proportions. And there is no more. It is always the same process, to born, grow, reproduce, and die. There is no additional mechanisms, there are no external forces, no one has a survival plan, and the environment doesn't care who lives or who dies. Let's see what happens to the leaves. Let's delete this and this one, and go. And right. These numbers on the right give us information about what's happening in the virtual world. The first tells us the generation number. As you see, the generations pass quickly. The second and third tell us how many births and deaths there are on average in each generation. At first, there are many births and fewer deaths, causing some distortion measure, but over time both converge. The next three are the average of the genes. You see the X and Y genes being to grow and C to decrease. This means that the leaves, which at first were cubic, are becoming flat. Let's run. Okay. You can see at a glance how the leaves are flattening. So far, there is no supernatural process. However, it's clearly seen how the leaves change, evolving. When I developed this simulation for the first time, I stayed here, but it is still an issue we have not seen: adaptation. What is this adaptation? Is it that leaves realize that their environment changed and react accordingly? To simulate a change in the virtual world, we'll turn the plants so that the light reaches them from another side, as we will do with a plant in our balcony. The leaves do what they did before we changed the environment. We have not changed them yet. Their children return to change their shapes to adapt to the new light source. But they don't be square again. They are stylized. This is because one of the genes had evolved in the right direction and remains valid in the new conditions, which perpetuates and even continues to widen its effect. If we turn them again, they change again. But this time the gene, what was valid in two different environments, is now invalid, and therefore it begins to decrease while the other two grow. And that's it. We can turn the leaves as often as we want. In the end, leaves will have adapted to the conditions imposed by the environment. I hope this simulation will be useful to understand that evolution and adaptation of species have nothing supernatural, or at least that you should find it entertaining. You can download the application with this example and many other examples of artificial intelligence from my website www.el-profe-vigo.es. There you will also find the simulation code and a series of experiments that you can do. Thank you for your attention.